Good morning, welcome to another video. As the title suggests, and as you can see, I am down the Avon. I've come to my favourite chub peg once again, which for a few reasons I'll run into in a minute, but a little bit disappointed when I got here, to be honest. The club seemed to be in and have hacked all the lovely weed down that was in here. It did look like it was going to be an issue. However, as we found in the last video down here, it wasn't an issue at all. And it actually acted as a bit of a barrier between me and the chub. I had them out like I've never had them out before in here. It is what it is. So we'll see how it affects the fishing. It'd be interesting to see whether these chub were coming out, because I was practically fishing off the rod top for them, but I don't think they're going to come that close, as I say, with all the weed gone. So I'm down here because I've only got a few hours today. This is very close to home. Got to be gone around lunchtime, so it's getting on for 10 o'clock now, so I've got about 3 hours realistically. I just fancied catching a few fish. I've not done any fishing for myself for a good week or so, and I won't be able to get out again for at least another week to do some personal fishing. I've got 3 more guiding sessions, one tomorrow, one Monday and one Wednesday. So I thought I'd come and make the most. As I say, I've got a few hours free. I've got another reason, I've got about 3 or 4 pints of maggots that are really old that I need to use up. So we can use those. I've actually brought some meat with me as well this time, although maggots were doing really well last time. So I don't want to go too far from home just for my own personal fishing, just because of this kidney stone, which I touched on in the last video. Just to update you a little bit, without going into too much detail, it does feel like it's in my bladder. I was in excruciating pain. I seem to have passed it. It seemed to be sat on my valve in my bladder for a week or so. Peeing was very difficult. But it seems to have shifted again now. I've been to the hospital yesterday, been fully checked out, and they said I obviously need to have a scan. They didn't want to keep me in. They didn't want to have me hanging around for hours and hours and hours. They said we'll give you a shout in the next few days, next week, and we'll get you in, have a scan. So that's where we are at the moment. So I don't really want to go too far, just in case this suddenly kicks off. Because if this stone, I know from experience, from about 20 years ago, I had a kidney stone, and when they start to pass, it's like nothing on earth, the pain. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to get in here, spray maggots in, get on the Waggler. I'm going to go down, as you see, I've got the bait weighter in already. We'll get and spray a few maggots out. I've seen one little chub cruising about, I say little, about a pound. But we'll see if we can get his big brothers and sisters out, and hopefully we can have a few out. Now, another reason I've come to this swim is it's going to get up to 30 degrees today. It's about 25 already. So being able to get in here, lots of boiling, I think it's all small fish. Being able to get in here is nice because this water's not particularly warm. It's definitely a bonus being able to wade. We'll feed for a few minutes and just see if the big boys want to come out to play. We'll certainly get a lot of activity from small fish, which generally means there's no big ones there. We'll feed for 5 and see what happens. We'll soon know if we get some big boils. I can go at the top of the bank anyway and have a look if we need to. But I do think this weed that's not here anymore, these rushes, have certainly alerted fish to my presence. They didn't have a clue I was here last time. So gear-wise, I've got my Daiwa Connoisseur 14-foot power match rod. 3 SSG Dave Harrell Speci Wag on there, and a Daiwa 125M closed face reel. I'll stick all the details of everything I'm using, line and everything, down in the description. I do think if we go in at the moment, we're going to catch lots of... Oh, that was a boil. Right, we've had our first big boil. That's promising. Yeah, I was going to say, if we go in at the moment, I think we're just going to catch little dace, little roach, little bleak. We really need the chub to push the other fish out. Yeah, there's another big boil there. Okay. Rather than the little splashes, we're starting to get a few proper boils. We'll give them, as I say, we'll give them 5 still. We'll let them get the confidence up a bit. Perhaps get a few more out feeding from under those trees where they seem to live before we start upsetting them by catching them. Yeah, I can see some dark shapes cruising about out of here. I think we've got them moving. get rid of these maggots in a productive way. Absolutely months old, these maggots. Right, I can't resist. I'm going to have a crack. Oh, I just want a bit of distance between that waggler and the bait. Right, see if we can wiggle one out. They were being very cute last time we did this. Looks like today's going to be the same. Oh, that's a little fish. Yeah. Well, there's a big chub just behind him. Just went through, just behind this little fella. We'll keep feeding. Get them to lose their caution. So, certainly no, this is the wrong one. They're really avoiding it. We just got to work this out again today. I'll say we can go on meat if we need to. Yeah, there's some proper lumps out there, swirling about. So with meat, we can hide the hook inside the bait. I'm still getting bites off smaller fish. I do think not that many chub out there at the moment. Clearly some. Right, I can see they're not too fussed about coming around this float at the moment. So I'm going to shorten that down a little bit. Certainly swimming around the float. It doesn't seem to be bothering them at all. What I'm going to do, is I think put some floating on the line, on the hook link, just so that it sits more in the upper layers and only sinks this sort of far. Give that a go, I think, in a minute. If this doesn't work, they're certainly on these maggots now. Properly going for it. Yeah, I think the hook bait's just too deep. Let's put a bit of float link on the line. Right, so I've put some muslin on the line below the float, bizarrely, and I've left the last sort of 6 inches so it'll sink, and the rest of it is going to float. So we should be, as the maggot runs through, it should be just 6 inches deep, because I think it's going through too deep. I think that seems to be the issue. And I can't fish just 6 inches deep because they're not going to come take bait right underneath the float. We need a bit of separation there. Right, let's try and cast far enough. That'd be good. Be interesting to see if this works. I've never done this before. Ooh. There we go, that worked, didn't it? Second run through with the line greased. Oh no, there's a boat coming. Typical. Feels decent fish as well. Not going to see me till the last minute either. So we need to give this a bit of stick, otherwise we're going to lose it. We'll get him in. There we go. I think we got him beat mostly. don't have a pull. Blimey. Got them out of the way of the boat anyway, at least. I just about got him out of the way in time. Come on.
Nice one.
Thank you. Got him. Well, that worked, didn't it? He's not a beast, but he's a cracking fish. Boat slowed down as well. You saw what was happening? That was about that. Wonderful. Yeah, that worked. I'll show you exactly what I did now. But yeah, second run through, that has worked. Get him unhooked. We're going to keep netting because if we put these back, we're never going to catch many. So, what I've done is I've got about, I don't know, 2.5 foot between the hook and the float, just to get a bit of separation there. I've got the Olivet, all the weight of the float right underneath the float. I've gone loop to loop here. What I've done is, I've got some of this stuff, this mucilin stuff, greased the whole of the distance between the float and actually the bottom knot on the hook link, the figure of 8 loop knot, just leaving about 6 inches. So this will float through, and the maggot will go through about 6 inches deep. Because it was seeming that as this was sinking, it was just going too deep. They perhaps weren't seeing it, or I don't know, viewing it with a bit of suspicion. But that certainly worked. So we'll try that again. I've definitely been quite cute today. I've not been daft at all. Another reason why I came to this peg as well is because I know there's a chance of some fish here. Most of the Avon, on sunny days like this, you'd be scratching around for bits. But here, like I say, I know there's a chance of a few decent chub. Yeah, they're back out there again. There's not loads of them out there. There's not loads of them, but there's still probably half a dozen at a guess. Right, they're being very cute today. Not quite sure what to do. I think I might change them to meat in a minute. We can bury the hook then. They can see what's going on, that's the problem. I'm sure they can see that hook. So I'll go on meat. Let's see if we'll get them taking meat. Also stop all the bites off the little fish as well. Let's go and grab a bit of meat. Doesn't mean I don't get rid of my maggots. The good thing about meat is, in this situation, it doesn't sink very quickly. I've got some cubed up to 6mm cubes. Yeah, I mean, there's chub swirling on those already. Certainly much further over. Such a shame the club cut all this, I assume it's a club, cut all this cover out. We had them right in here before. They're right over by the tree now and they won't move over. Yeah, they're taking this meat. Let's stick a bit on and just see if covering that hook up will do the trick. I think that got ripped off the hook. Had a couple of dips on the float. Loads of chub out now, I can see them because it's so flat. I mean, that's another reason I came. There you go, I've just been mugged again. Another reason I came out today was just this weather. Not a breath of wind. Right, I think these 6mm bits are a bit awkward to keep on the hook. I think I'm going to put a bigger bit on, bigger hook, bigger bit of meat. That worked. We didn't hook up, but that definitely worked. I bought this meat because I wondered if they'd be a bit more clued up a few weeks into the season. It seems the case. They've been a lot more cautious. Although, like I say, for the Avon, this is epic fishing in a day. Put in little bits. Little bits for loose feed, and then we'll go in with a nice big chunk. See if they can resist that. I'm guessing not. Well, yeah, we've had a few casts with this meat, and it doesn't look like it's the answer either, to be honest. I think it's just one of those days we're going to have to work for every bite. Oh, that was a bite. There we go. Ooh, right by the tree. I didn't want to hook one there. Oh no. Maybe it is working. I don't think it was working this, but it's certainly working better than the maggots. I say it's just getting that hook out of sight. I had one proper bite on maggots. I mean, only been on meat about 10 minutes. We've had 3 bites, 2 of which I've missed. God, blimey. Such a key when you're trotting for chub. It's just getting that hook out of sight. They can't see anything. God, you've got a gob on him. Well, he's another lump. Another Warwickshire Avon lump. Wonderful. He fancied a bit of meat, certainly. Well, I have to say, this is very enjoyable. I do love going out, taking people out guiding, and it's gone very, very busy this year, and it's lovely to, get people their first barbel, or, perhaps first barbel on the float, or just get them to have a nice experience down on the Y. It's wonderful to be able to be a part of that, or facilitate it, shall we say. But it is nice to be on home ground and catch a few chub in the middle of the day. Well, middle of the morning anyway. Glad I bought this meat. I think we'd be really struggling on maggots. I might have another go in a bit, but they're not going crazy. They just seem to be quite cautious today. I guess they've been caught a few times now. Now the season started. I can actually see it going through the swim. There's a freebie there, just floating off downstream. They haven't touched it. So I've just had 10 minutes feeding from up on top of the bank, so I can see what's going on much better. The little fish are going absolutely crazy for the maggots. The chub are just not interested in competing with them. There's 4 or 5 chub out there. They're not showing any interest in competing with the little fish. I'll put some meat in. They're not really showing any interest in that either, unless it runs right close to that far side tree, when I can see them popping out, grabbing it and going back in again. So I think that's our only choice at the moment, really. is to run right past that tree. Let's see if that'll get us a bite. They're not even showing any interest when they're out in the river in sort of loose-fed meat. It's almost scaring them. Job to know what to do, really. Tricky one. There we go. That's what I mean, just really close to that tree. I don't seem to want to come out. Oh, blimey. I really like catching them right close to a bit of cover like that, because, you know, you spook them, you want to get them out really and get feeding, but they're just not showing any interest in doing that today at all. I think we'll have to content ourselves with picking a few off. There we go. Smallest one of the day, but still a cracker. Wonderful. Of course, it may be that there's a lot more boats here today than there was last time we came out. I mean, I think 2 went past in about 4 hours last time. We've only been here probably an hour. We've had 3 go past already. Yeah, as I say, it's not ideal really, pulling them out from under that tree, because all it's going to do is spook them and they're just going to go back under the tree. But as we're very limited on time today, you know, I haven't really got time to stand here. Well, I have literally got time here to stand here for half an hour and feed. But I'm not sure even that would do us any good, to be honest. The way they're being very cagey. They're certainly not troughing. Perhaps with hindsight, I should have fed a bit longer at the beginning. I was feeding them for about 10 minutes and we started to get some proper reaction. So I thought, oh, we're good to go now. But seems we've caught a few and spooked them. Been mugged. I thought I'm going to get a bite that run through. I thought, yeah, that's the one. I'm going to get a bite. I did. I got mugged. Ah. Well, I've been feeding for 5 minutes again, just to try and pull these fish out. But I think they've tucked themselves back under that tree. They know exactly what's going on. And they've decided they don't want to play anymore. Only been here about an hour and a half, I think, but we'll give it another half an hour. Like I said, I've got stuff to do today, so if they're not going to play ball for whatever reason, then we'll give best. But we'll give it another half an hour, just see if we can work on another 1 or 2 out. I say it's always, to me, it's always a bit of a sign of the end. If you're having to run a bait right past, tight into a bit of cover or where they live to get a bite, it's because they're not coming out. They were out, we've clearly upset them. And now they really tucked themselves away under that tree. Well, while we're here feeding for a few minutes, I'll fill you in on what's been happening. I've actually had a couple of guiding sessions that I've not made into videos. I went out with a chap called Chris, and we went to my favourite swim on the Wye. Chris really fancied catching a barbel on the float. So we gave it our best shot, but unfortunately, they just weren't having it that day. We tried and we tried and we tried everything. Wagglering, stick floating, nothing. Fish were in a very funny mood that day. We caught stacks of chub, but the barbel just didn't seem interested. We tried everything. We hung it out. We even tried a little bit of ledgering, last knockings, but unfortunately, we weren't able to get a whiskered one. Chris had a nice day though. We caught, as I say, we caught stacks and stacks of chub, loads of them, on the float as well, which was very enjoyable. Yeah, just a bit of a shame. As I say, a barbel didn't show up. And I had another guiding session last week. And the chap didn't want to be filmed at all. He said he was quite happy for me to film myself when I was fishing. I did a little bit during the day, but really, obviously, the day was about him. So we got him doing plenty of fishing, mostly ledgering. Well, the boats have started in force now, that's for sure. And the aeroplanes flying. Yeah, we worked on you know, a bit of technique, and it was his first real go at river fishing. So we worked on various things, but as I say, he didn't want to be filmed. That was absolutely fine. You know, it's not compulsory. Most people find it a nice sort of memento of the day when I do a video of the day, but you know, it's not compulsory by any means. If you don't want to be filmed, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, it was a bit of a shame because we had 3 nice barbel out. But like I say, he didn't want to be filmed, so that's fine. But the last one, I had to hold it up. I had to get a bit of footage. It was absolute cracker. It was £9.14. What a fish. Absolutely cracking. But yeah, the boats really have started in force now. Now it's got a bit warmer, blimey. I think it's only about 11:30, 11:15, 11:30. I think I'm going to give this till 12, and then I'm going to call it, because the chub don't want to play ball. I don't blame him for not wanting to be out. This boat's going past all the time now. I think I've upset them anyway. I pull a few of their mates out. They're really not going for it like they often do in here. Like I say, I'm on a very short bit of elastic today. I really need to go, so like I say, if they're not playing ball, then we'll knock it, but we'll give it a bit longer. Nah, we'll call it there. As I say, I've got loads to do anyway. That's been, yeah, not quite what I expected. I must admit, it's yeah, a bit of a strange one. I mean, for, like I say, for any other swim on the Avon, that's a cracking result, 3 chub in these conditions. But for in here, you know, it's not so good. There was several more fish there. I mean, we never got them going in any particular quantities. I think the most I saw out there was 6. We've had 3 of them, so probably not surprising that the other 3 have scooted off to that tree, because that's, yeah, they weren't really going crazy. And halfway through the session, I was, well, not an hour ago, I was firing meat out, and they were hanging in the middle or just off that tree, but they're not interested. They weren't taking it, weren't taking maggots, just leaving all the maggots to the little ones. For whatever reason, they're not particularly in a feeding mood, and like I say, I've upset them by catching their mates. Now, as I mentioned, I'm out again tomorrow. Got a guiding session with a couple of chaps. Now that video will be over on the Fishing Tips channel, which I'll link at the end. And I'm out on Monday and on Wednesday as well next week, doing some more guiding with another couple of chaps. And then I shall try and get out end of next week. We'll get back on the Avon, perhaps do something different. I don't know what. We'll have a look at the conditions. We'll perhaps try further upstream here, where we had some fish in the winter. There might be some fish up there. We'll perhaps try a little offshoot of the Avon, I know. Perhaps get down there, do a bit of trotting, or even perhaps do a bit of ledgering, see if we can winkle a barbel out. We can sight fish for them down there. But that is for next time on this channel. As I say, there'll be a few videos over on the Fishing Tips channel. Easy for me to say. I can't even speak. It's the heat, 30 degrees. Yeah, there'll be 2 or 3 videos over on the Fishing Tips channel before that one goes live. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a really good time. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support. Thanks to those who supported me through buymeacoffee.com, and I'll see you again very soon.